What's going on, Jeromes? It's a beautiful Wednesday, short on sleep, long on opinions, and F it. It's time. First Vikings 7-round mock draft sim of the offseason. First of like 9,000. It's all right. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling extra spicy today, and I feel like going up and getting a quarterback who originally started his career at Arizona State. Let's go do that today. So Vikings 7-rounder, go. So starting off, see how can we zoom in and enhance this? This is good enough. Anyways, so for whatever reason, PFF won't let you trade past 2025, which is ludicrous. Woo. We are going to trade. So the Bears aren't going to trade up. Bears aren't going to do business with the Vikings. Maybe the Vikings' only chance is if some other team trades up to 1 and then the Vikings trade up with that team who traded with the Bears. But then you'd be paying 2 premiums. So, nah. Washington is probably going to stick and pick a quarterback. Caleb Williams does make sense here if he falls, or Drake May. But Patriots at 3. So Patriots obviously need a quarterback too. But if they don't like the third quarterback who's going to be left of the top 3, maybe they look to move out, and maybe the Vikings should look to move in. So let's do some business with the Patriots. Although, Gerard Mayo should be looking for his quarterback, right? Because that's really going to determine his tenure in Boston. So Patriots at 3, we want numero trace. Now we're going to trade 11 and 2025 first-round pick. And again, I would include the 2026 first-round pick, but apparently, unless I'm really stupid, doesn't look like you can do that. So we're going to put the 2025 second-rounder as in place of the 2026 first-rounder, but that's essentially what we're doing. So it will probably cost a little bit more than this. Actually, can we get something else back? No. There we go. So we'll try and get a 4th rounder. That's probably a 4th rounder. Might be a 3rd. But we'll get an extra mid-round pick back. 11 and 2 first-rounders for 3 and some random mid-rounder. Also, give me the 7th. Why not? Offer trade. Enhance. If at first you don't succeed, you can dust it off and try again. All right, fine. Oh. They're just going to say no. Screw it. Forcing the trade. All right, so here's what's interesting. So we were going to force the trade, but then it just went. And the guy that we're going to trade up for, Jaden Daniels at 3, is still there at 11. Now, barring something catastrophic happening in the draft process or something coming up, I don't see this happening. I don't see Jaden Daniels falling out of the top 10, but if he did, it would be a whole lot cooler if he did. So, obviously, we're sticking and picking. We're taking Jaden Daniels. Skol SU, the pride of Arizona State as well. Although I feel like if and when Antonio Pierce gets the Raiders job, the fact that he coached Jaden Daniels in college and high school, I think it's a spot where they could maneuver and go get him. He would be the face of the franchise, put Vegas football on the map. We'll see. So, got our quarterback up at 11, and we didn't have to give up future first rounders to go do it. So now the Vikings stick just chilling here. We got a decision already. So we love us some Byron Murphy II out of Texas. The Vikings need to beef up the defensive line. Chris Jenkins is going to be a star in this league, man. I loved his pops with the Jets, but Jenkins, a little bit more diverse of a defensive lineman, not strictly a nose, but certainly can get after the passer as well as is solid against the run. Chop Robinson is a guy that I like a lot. Brandon Dorius is in the mix as well. So Jackson Powers Johnson would be fantastic to bring in as competition for Garrett Bradbury, because I don't think that Bradbury should be just handed the job next year. Tavondre Sweat, of course, is our guy. Can we find a spot? Can we maneuver and muscle for rank and try to get back in? All right, so the Packers are. Who's at 43? I saw the Falcons. All right, what's it going to take to get to 43? Oh, we could just trade our kingdom. That's not going to work. All right, so or do we just hold on to those? We can't even trade a future second rounder. The hell, man. All right, so say the Dolphins. 53. No one wants to do any business. All right, screw it. So again, this is a tough decision because the Vikings definitely need to invest along the defensive line, but I mean it's not a top-heavy defensive line class, but it is deep. So it's like a mild wide and an inch deep. Other way around. So the Vikings, and no, that is not Justin Jefferson's brother, Jordan Jefferson, who was quarterback at LSU, which is kind of funny. But I do think I would feel better about the defensive line depth versus the edge depth later on, because I think that there is a certain inflection point where the edge depth just sort of drops off. So I am going to take Chop Robinson in this spot. I love his toolsiness. He's a physical freak. I think that he's the guy that's going to project well in the Flores defense. You know, he's a big reason why James Franklin's defense was as good as it was this season. So Chop Robinson is in the building. So we got a quarterback, we got edge rusher, and now we're just going to see how the board plays out. Bucky, I really like Bucky Irving. So again, so they're just want to get this on screen. So they're projecting a couple of comp picks for the Vikings. I don't know if that will necessarily be true because the Vikings actually lost out in the comp pick formula for 2024, but whatever. We're going to make these picks. But Bucky Irvin's got some pop. I think that he would make a lot of sense in the mid-rounds. Estime from Notre Dame. So he's seen as a power back. I think he's a little bit more shiftier than people give him credit for. So what else we got here? Zach Zinter. Coming off that broken leg. I think Kwesi loves him, the medical guys. But Zinter probably wouldn't have been a day 2 pick if he hadn't gotten hurt. And Aeneas Smith is there. Grayson Murphy, Jabbar Muhammad, Braylon Allen, Howard Cross III is a guy that I love a lot. All right, so 108 and 130. All right, so we probably can't get Cross. Let's find a way to get both. Screw him. All right, so who's up next? The Falcons, Hot Atlanta. All right, so there we go. 130 for 165 for 109. Can we get 244? Whatever. There we go. All right. So we got back-to-back picks. So we're going to take Bucky Irving in this spot, and then we are going to go down and get Howard Cross, the third. Howard Cross's pops was a fantastic tight end back in the day, and Cross is a little bit undersized, but has a high motor, and I love his versatility along the defensive line. I think that he's a guy who's really going to be an asset along Flores' multiple front. Let's see what else now. All right, so how many picks? All right, so we got 4 picks left, even though I don't think that the Vikings will be in the compensatory pick business. And as of right now, just looking at the top of the board, I'm sort of whatever about a number of picks in this spot. Eichberg could make sense. Bo Limmer. I know that people are yelling about cornerback as of right now. And I would have taken Muhammad if he was still around. Hayden's interesting. Phillips is interesting. Castro, the other Iowa cornerback, is interesting. So certainly Hart, yes. Could we get Hart at there? All right, we'll just take Cam Hart. All right, there we go. So we got quarterback. Should we take Sam Hartman later, since we're going with the Notre Dame motif? Keegan is in the mix. We haven't hit up interior offensive line yet. Keegan could make sense. All right, there you go. He's a Michigan man. All right, 2 picks left, 179 and 230. All right, so Frank Gore Jr. I think the Frank Gore Jr. is going to be a really solid pro, man. But we already checked the box with Bucky Irving, who, Bucky Irving is quickly like one of my draft crushes. All right, Sling and Sam Hatman. Is there do we go back to back? Do we go back to back quarterbacks? We could. Let's see here. Seth McLaughlin in the arms of an angel. Is he in the transfer portal? I'm sure that some of these aren't completely updated yet. Or do we just double down there? All right. Defensive interior, Randolph, Gabe. Oh, I'm going to get Gabe Hall later on. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Gabe Hall, physical freak from Baylor. Let's go. Let's go, man. Do we grab another corner? I mean, Roberts, yes. Yeah, sure, why not? All right, so we double down on corner. And unless something is just blowing me away, I think I'll take the defensive tackle with our last pick here. Trey Smith. Nothing stand out. So, well, I mean, span forward, so the Vikings are probably pretty good to go at tight end. But Gabe Hall, just another physical freak body along the defensive line. Something the Vikings definitely need to address and get after. So it was a happy accident because we were all set up to trade all the way up to 3 to get Jaden Daniels. The trade didn't work out, but we still get Jaden Daniels at 11. Now, again, I think that's highly unlikely that Daniels falls out of the top 10, but probably not impossible. Chop Robinson in the second round. I love his toolsiness. I love that even if Danielle Hunter is back, I think that edge rusher is definitely should be a high priority. Bucky Irving in the 4th round. I think that Bucky Irving has a chance to come in and be running back 1 right away. And then you got for the defensive line, we got Cross in the 4th. Gabe Hall adding some much needed athleticism, as a little bit of size. Well, even though Cross is a little bit undersized along the defensive line, but just basically just dudes who can get after the run and guys that can create their own pass rush. We go from there, man. Cam Hart, Willie Roberts doubled up at cornerback, as well as Trevor Keegan. He's a Michigan man, adding some offensive line depth and competition. So 8 picks in, and overall, like, if this is how the board breaks down, you got your quarterback of the future, and you added some depth along the defensive line. You got yourself an RB1 and also a little bit of cornerback depth. I'd be happy with this. I'd be pretty damn happy with what the hell went on here. But that's it. 7-round Vikings mock draft. You know what to do. Skull production value. As I burp. I always burp at the end.